It's Jessie May, it's Park. We knit and we knat and we chit and we chat and we knit and we knat and we chit and we chat and we knit and we knat and we chit and we chat and we knit and we knat and we chit and we chat and we knit and we knat and we chit and we chat.
Hi everyone, coming at you live from the castle in the sky.
It's Jessie May.
It's Park.
We knit,
We knat.
we chit.
And we chat.
Welcome to our real live actual web show.
Real live web show, Knit Knat, Chit Chat. We have a whole kind of control center situation here of technology.
It's wild. I wish you could see it. I feel like I want to take a picture so you can. It looks so different from how you're seeing us.
Yes.
But.
So, as much as let me just start off by saying we are already getting to see your chat. And
it's making
the chat
us
room
so happy.
is so happy. It is keeping us going. It is keeping us brave.
If you see me looking this way, it's because our chat is over there.
Yeah, when we're doing this, we're looking right at you all.
We're seeing everything everybody is saying.
If you could, as we're really starting to get our bearings on this live show streaming situation, if you in the chat can tell us if any technology needs fixed or anything, like if one of us is accidentally muted, because we're not tech girlies.
We are not women in STEM.
We are not women in
two
STEM.
knitters who have learned only very recently how to do this.
Yes. And that leads us to our first little thing, which is let's introduce ourselves.
Wait, I have something else I need to say, which is that I haven't washed my hair in over a week, and so occasionally I'm getting a little bit of ear peeking through my hair in a way that Park says makes me look like a Lord of the Rings character, which is usually something that I find very sexy on other people. But to me, it just looks like a little greasy and gross. So if you could be on ear patrol and let me know if there are any errant ears, I would love that. It would mean the world to me.
And on the same, in the same vein, we also really wanted to dress up for you all for our inaugural web show. So
Somebody
can see
said
that
we
we're
look
wearing
like two little Valentines.
Yeah, we're wearing lipstick, which also can you be on lipstick patrol for us?
I haven't worn lipstick I frequently will wear a little gloss thing, but I haven't worn actual lipstick in I don't know how long. A year at least.
I have been wearing it often because I'll talk about my outfit later, but I have reworn this outfit probably 4 times in the past month.
As you should. It's a beautiful outfit.
Thank you.
An incredibly beautiful outfit. I'm wearing a little milkmaid top. It is 34 degrees in Chicago, but it is 104 degrees in my south-facing apartment that has horrible ventilation. So
it's hot.
It's hot in here. And we turn the fans off and we shut the windows because you can always hear sirens and street noise coming from outside. Even though I am on a very high floor, city noise. What can you do?
That's what's up with us.
That's what's going on with us.
Let's introduce ourselves. I'll go first.
Yeah.
I am Park Williams of the knitwear brand Park and Knit. Park and Knit. I grew up in southern Idaho, Twin Falls, if you're keeping track. And I have now lived in Chicago since 2016. 11 years? No, that was wrong. That was wrong.
9 years.
9 years. 9 years. What else about me? I've been knitting since I was 8 years old. So I'm now 32. Wow, making myself older. It's hard to keep track of everything these days.
Especially for me.
Yeah, you could say that again. So that's me. Yeah. And who are you?
I'm Jessie May of Jessie Made Designs, knitting under the alias of Jessie Made Designs. That's why my name is Jessie May. I'm actually named after my knitting brand. I am an Ojibwe and Filipina knitwear designer. I write size-inclusive patterns. I've been doing it since 2018. I am originally from northern Wisconsin. I grew up on a reservation called Lakota Ray. It is near the town of Hayward. I went to college at UW-Madison. I graduated in 2006 and moved to Chicago, and I have been here ever since. So this year will be 19 years in Chicago, in this apartment, actually. So welcome to my castle. No bedroom studio.
Yes.
In Chicago.
We love it.
Yeah.
We wanted to tell everybody a little bit about who we are, aka our relationship and friendship together, because that is a major theme of Knit Knat Chit Chat is friendship. Friendship, fun, what else? Giggling, chatting.
I would also say that it's like a major theme of our online presences in general. People have always we sort of work together. We often collaborate. And we do a lot of things together. So
we like each other.
We like each other. And I would say that we all have shared parts of our lives and our friendship often. And so many of you know us as friends. And we love that.
And we've been friends now for 6 years. Is that what we decided?
Maybe 7. Well, it's 2025 and we met in 2018. We met in real life in 2018.
This is a lot of math on the fly.
It is.
And I like to
as a woman
do
in math.
2 plus 2 on my calculator. That's how I work.
I can do math.
Yeah,
I can do simple math.
You can. So we met on
Tinder.
on the old Instagram, if any of you have heard of it. And
it really was the old Instagram, because Instagram is so different now than
the fun times.
Used to be.
It was full of friendship.
Yeah.
It was full of friendship.
It was full of friendship. It was full it was full of people, and I think it probably still is. We just don't see it anymore. You could actually see,
you
things
follow
that you
people
wanted
and
to
then
see.
you get to actually see their stuff, which is harder and harder to do these days. But I like to tell the story of how we met, because it was my second ever design, and it's called the Aquamarine, and it's a stash buster design that's really colorful, and it's cropped with bubble sleeves.
What was your first design?
The Roy G. Biv.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with my work?
I am familiar with your work, but I feel like it was the first thing I had ever seen from you.
That's what I'm saying.
Honestly, none of Park's other patterns matter to me.
Yeah, it was
offense.
It is the most important design to me, the Aquamarine, because it brought me not only Jessie May, it also brought me James Watts, who is present in the chat. Hello, James Watts.
James.
Jessie found my Aquamarine and then found me, and she test knit that pattern for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I didn't know your page either. But when you click,
it also was in a time when I didn't really have. I had like maybe 1,000 followers. Like we didn't have any sort of presence in the community or as designers.
But your page, if you know Jessie May, you know that everything she does is aesthetic and beautiful. So when I clicked on her page, once she was applied to test knit for me, I clicked and I was like blown away, because it was these beautiful pastel pictures, as I'm sure you could tell from following her now. But you also had a few of your own designs already, right?
I did. I think at that point I had already released like the Breeze Racer back, the Ripple bralette, and the Ripple crop top. So I had 3 designs.
Some iconic designs, okay?
But at that point they had not been like widely knit at all.
No. So it was still, we were kind of like mutually meeting each other at the right times as we were starting to knit and like design more. And we were very respectful. We just kept our little relationship to test knitting.
We were both like,
I followed you and you
we're
followed
like
me.
boundary people. So we weren't all in each other's DMs trying to meet up. We were sort of just cutely interacting in a very casual way. I'm sure in a way that like we have interacted with a lot of you, right?
Okay, let me just say a few things from the chat right now, which is that Disco Stitch, Holly, said, I followed both of you at that time, and it was a joy to watch the friendship unfold.
It's true.
True.
Holly is one of the OG.
We
always remember the OG girls, the people who have followed us from the beginning.
Yes.
We never forget them.
Gloria Petrelli, my friend Gloria Mcia Petrelli, says Ripple bralette supremacy. So true. Okay, so we kind of just started being friends, dipping our toe into Instagram
friends,
messaging each other. Jessie gave me the ultimate compliment, which was to photograph herself in the aquamarine. She does not like to have her picture taken.
I don't like to be in front of a camera at all. I love taking a photo. I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not a natural performer. I am just not comfortable with it. But I did take a picture in the aquamarine because I loved it. I loved it so much.
So, and you even messaged me and said, I am bestowing the highest honor on you by actually photographing myself in this knit. And I will say, is it still? No, it was your profile picture for.
It is. I don't think I've ever changed my Instagram profile picture. It's still the picture.
Yeah.
Some people like to photograph them or put a picture of themselves in their own designs, but I like to
like
wear
my
my friends' designs. I do. And I thought that what Park was going to say is that I bestowed the ultimate compliment, which was posting an Instagram story of myself with the puppy filter, because Park always used to post with the puppy filter.
I did. I loved that thing.
I had never used the puppy filter, so I tried it and I liked it.
Yeah. And that's our story, guys. Just Instagram friends. We also knew that we both lived in Chicago, but it took us until a delayed flight by James N. Watts being in Chicago, because James was not living in Chicago, but still similarly, James also saw my aquamarine, and it was like we followed each other in that way. But anyway, there was a delayed flight in Chicago, and James said, "Park, I have a delay in Chicago. I have to stay the night. Do you and Jessie want to go get dinner?" And we were like, I texted Jessie. I was like, oh my gosh, alert. We have to go right this second to go meet James. And we got to the place, and it was fast friends.
It was fast friends. James immediately brought up a controversial knitting topic, and we all stated our truths. And
we love to state our truths.
And that conversation has never been leaked to this day. So that's how we establish trust in the relationship. Yeah. I had one more thing to say, but I forgot what it was.
We can circle back.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do this show, which has been a bit of a long time coming.
People want to know the topic.
We are not. Actually, the topic
we can say what the topic
fine.
was. James said, state a viral knitting pattern that you hate.
Was that it? I thought it was like just state like details of details in a knitting pattern that you hate or something.
Oh no, I think he said name a pattern that's viral right now that you don't like, and we all did it. I still remembered what I said.
That's
and you know
amazing.
what? I stand by it. I'm not going to say it. Also, that designer turned out to be terrible. So, like, as a person, not to say anything about their design work. But anyway.
So we wanted to do this show, which was kind of a long time coming. Back in the fall of 2023, we were just texting and we were sad. Hello.
It was a terrible time in the world. And in my life personally, I was experiencing a full body rash that literally made me withdraw from everybody I knew.
Yeah.
I broke up with all of my boyfriends. And I was in my house. I was like in my house for like a month and a half. Yeah.
It was sad. And we were just texting one night, just like both of us very down in the dumps, as they say, being like, we just missed feeling connected to people in general. Like, we just missed feeling connected. And we also were like, we were like brainstorming lots of different ideas, and we still maybe will do them, but like a knit night or something that is less about us writing patterns and like just only being like, here's another pattern, which I know we will talk about the stuff that we do on the show, but we were missing like the friendship aspect and the connecting with you all aspect again. And
we were really like missing just seeing people. That was like around the time that I really just started noticing that my whole feed was just ads. It wasn't anything relevant to anything. I wasn't even seeing like my good friends posts on Instagram. Like, I feel like people and I mean, it's fine. People stopped using it. Instagram is evil, like whatever. Like, people stopped using it though. So we weren't like getting the interaction that we used to with like the people who knit our patterns. And I feel like our entire sort of relationship with the people who knit our patterns at that point was only through Instagram.
Yeah.
There wasn't really another way that we were able to like talk to you all or interact with you all. And so when that like sort of stopped being a thing, I was like, oh God, I feel so like far away from the people who we like chit chat with every day. And you know.
A big old, and it still is very prevalent now, but just a really big distance feeling and like isolated feeling, and everyone like on their own little islands. And it was just, Jessie and I were just talking, we're like, what are things we love? We love being cozy. We love chit-chatting. We love being friends. We love knitting.
We love giggling.
We love giggling.
We love other people giggling with us.
Yeah.
I think that we both have established like presences on our Instagrams where we had like little, you know, in jokes with like people who follow us and like our like, you know, our virtual friend group or community.
Yeah.
And we were just like really missing that.
Yeah. And so you were the one that suggested it, and I was so shocked because, as Jessie has already said, she does not like being in front of the camera. And I was like, excuse me, are you saying maybe we should do an in front of the camera show? Because I'm down. I was waiting on you.
Yeah.
And that is how Knit Nat Chit Chat was born. We came up with the name. You came up with the name immediately in the chat, and it was like, of course, in our text messages.
Knitting and knatting is something that Park has always said. Like, I feel like maybe many people use it now, but Park has been using that phrase for so long. Yeah.
I thought you used it.
I thought you used it. I thought Park was always saying, I'm knitting and I'm natting. She was always putting it in her stories, and it always makes me laugh.
This is the real raccoon hand energy. Is how Park knitting and natting.
This is how Park does everything with her little raccoon hands.
Yeah. It's true.
When she gets excited, she like gets very like this, if you know what I mean.
My friends call it my raccoon hands, and they all have adopted my way of saying, okay. Oh, embarrassing.
It's beautiful.
Well, also this, we kind of covered it, but because this is a live show, that was very important to us to have the live aspect because we want to feel more connected to you all. It will, of course, be recorded or like YouTube will upload it after the fact. So we don't know how long this is going to go. If you want to pause.
I want it to go for 4 hours.
You want it to go for 4 hours.
I don't want it to go for 4 hours. I just feel that it might go for that long because when we get to knitting, when we get to chit-chatting,
all bets are off.
All bets are off. So,
but that being said, you can pause it, you can exit. We will not know, and you can come back later if you want. Do as you please. This is just an evening of knitting, natting, chitting, and chatting.
That is what it's an evening of.
Jessie, what are you drinking tonight?
In my little mug by a local ceramicist you know what, I'm going to shout out the business.
Yeah.
My friend, Ariana Barber, opened a boutique in my hometown. She is also an LCO tribal member, and she has a boutique called Sweetgrass and Sage on Main Street in Hayward, where she sells little artisan goods and like native crafts, and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And I also got like a birch bark one. But I went to high school with her, and her little shop is so beautiful. Amazing. And I got this over Christmas. So it's just gorgeous. It's like a beautiful kind of periwinkle shaded, done by a ceramicist. I don't know the name. The mark is like it looks like deer with antlers. But anyway, I am drinking a little tea, popularly known as throat coat from Yogi Tea, but I like to call it Throatalus coatalus, or Throatus coatus for short. It's a great version of throat coat because it has both cherry bark syrup, I think, and slippery elm, which it's hard to find one that has both. So
we were worried what would happen if we lost our voices right before the inaugural Knit Nat Chit Chat. It would just have to be called Knit Nat.
Yeah.
And it would be us quietly knitting.
And that is a real risk.
That could be fun, too.
It's a risk that we might lose our voices. I got a mysterious respiratory illness at the end.
A lot of mysterious illnesses
I got one at the end of... I'm an autoimmune warrior.
Yeah.
Autoimmune issue warrior. But I got a weird... I don't usually get respiratory viruses. I got a really weird, I have had COVID one time, but I got a really weird one at the end of November that the only symptom was that I lost my voice, but I was tested for everything, like COVID, RSV.
Yeah.
They did the entire like panel of everything you could test for, and they didn't know what it was. So the doctor was like, you probably had parvovirus, which is a virus for dogs, or it could have been laryngitis. But I feel like my voice, like right now, even just talking a little bit, I feel like it hasn't come back. So I might just be
so
permanently throatier, and that's kind of sexy. It's fine.
Sexy.
But I miss my like other voice. I wish I could
For
control when
about
I...
how, for I would be asking you to send me a voice memo every morning and day
It was
to
terrifying.
like get a voice check, because it lasted so long where Jessie did not have a voice.
It was bizarre, and it was just really weird. I had
was
no other
weird.
symptoms, like none. It was
Yeah,
just the voice.
that is not
And I
fun.
also feel like around that time, many people I was seeing on TikTok were they're like, get checked for pneumonia, get checked for all this stuff, and
Yeah.
I did because it made me paranoid, and I didn't have any of that. So who knows? But anyway, I might lose my voice. But I'm
Throatus
constantly
coatus.
having a little bit of throatalus coatalus, and that's the end of that.
I am having a beautiful drink called water. Also, sometimes it's pronounced water.
I like that. Slurp.
Jessie has very perverted soft straws.
I hate the feel of a glass straw. I have a lot of sensory issues, but I really hate the feel of a hard glass straw in my mouth. I hate the noise it makes against crystal. It's just not for me.
Well, these are not for me, but we're at Jessie's house, and this is what you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
Eddie is saying that the Sleepy Time Bear should sponsor us to knit a Sleepy Time hat for $2 million. Or a Sleepy
Eduardo,
Time hat.
great idea.
I 100% agree.
We have a lot of ideas in our head of possible sponsors, but
So far, none
They're-
have panned out.
yeah.
I look at the lighting right now. I wish it could stay like, I feel like the
Yeah.
light looks really beautiful at the moment. It's going to get dark, but right now, this like blue hour moment outside
We didn't
looks so
plan
beautiful.
this like time-wise to
We
do
forgot
this.
about the
we
time
forgot
change.
about the time change. We forgot about daylight savings. But the fact that right now behind us we have happening the exact transition from the waiting room artwork that
Is
you saw
incredible.
is incredible. While we're on that topic, I'm just going to jump a little bit ahead because I don't know that we can go any longer in the show without doing some shout out,
Some exaltations, one
some
might call them.
exaltations. So for those of you who came to the live stream a little bit ahead, you might have noticed there was beautiful waiting room artwork and music. A beautiful waiting room in general.
Yeah.
So the artwork, we have to say shout out, thank you to Caden McGreevy. Caden McGreevy hails from Moscow, Idaho, a little town in North Idaho. You may know him as my boyfriend, almost of 12 years.
And my boyfriend almost of 6 years.
Yes, of course. And let me read you a little bit about the illustrious career of Caden McGreevy, artist of Knat, Chit Chat, Waiting Room. Caden McGreevy is a Kennedy Center award-winning director. Okay,
Extremely impressive.
Kennedy Center, R.I.P. potentially. I think we lost that
R.I.P.
one
to
too.
everything
R.I.P.
that
to
exists.
everything right now because, yeah. He is a former, almost semi-professional soccer player, a founding member of Edgewater Castle FC.
Wait, why? So he's not technically a former semi-professional soccer player?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, thank you.
He is. He is.
Credit where
yeah.
credit's due. If he was a founding member,
I just don't know how all of the tiers of the professional soccer
as
world
I've
work.
always been told that this team is Is it semi-professional or is it on the rung below semi-professional? Any soccer heads in the chat?
I know Caden McGreevy's in the chat, but he doesn't get to say it because he's going to discredit himself. He doesn't get to answer.
He's not going to do that. Caden, you are not welcome to speak right now. If you
No.
speak, you will be booted from the chat.
Yeah.
James is a moderator, so.
Anyway, all this to say, he's an incredible soccer player. Okay. This just in.
Caden is a professional soccer player.
Gloria says that he is a professional soccer player, and Maya says that Caden Knit is on Ravelry, which we don't need to talk about that. Okay. He also is beautiful, tall, and he makes delicious cocktails. Okay.
Let me tell you my favorite thing about Caden.
Okay.
Relayed, this is something that another of my friends made an observation about, which is that if you are sitting next to Caden and you're like in a group setting and everybody's having a little laugh or whatever, Caden is always going to like, you know, have a little joke for you that he's saying quietly, like as all the action is happening around you. Like when you're sitting next to Caden, you always have a little bit of his like twinkle eye special attention, and he'll make a joke just for you, and that is such a good energy.
It is a good energy. What was paired with that beautiful artwork, as you may have noticed, was incredible music. And Dan Poppin is going to hate this section of Knit Knat Chit Chat because Dan Poppin does not love awards. However,
he's received many,
as we will find out. Dan Poppin wrote the music for Knit Knat Chit Chat. Boo, 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 boo. Doodly doodly doo, 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 doo. Okay, we have listened to it so many times, and I do think that we will be putting just the video of the waiting room on our YouTube so that you all can, you know, lo-fi listen
jam out to it whenever you want.
Whenever you're studying, knitting, whatever you want to do. So, Dan Poppin hails from Sioux City, Iowa. Jeff Award-winning sound designer. For those of you who are not thespians, the Jeff Awards, the Jeff Awards are theater awards in Chicago, and it's hilarious to be shouting this out to Dan Poppin, but okay, that's a big deal. Also, a bigger deal, we have another Kennedy Center Award winner, this time in musical composition.
R.I.P. Kennedy Center.
R.I.P. And for those of you that do not know, the Kennedy Center is still around, but I do believe that Donald Trump is now the director of it. Like it is very not good for the arts. Okay, as him being the director of anything has not been good for anything. Also, Dan, incredible video game player. A Pokemon connoisseur, tall, beautiful hair. Wait, tall, beautiful, long hair, and
I would like to add to that tall and beautiful only because I'm looking at the show notes, and in the show notes it says Dan Poppin, tall, beautiful, long hair, period. Tall, beautiful, period.
So I guess as I was writing Dan's bio, I really wanted to make sure that people knew that they were tall and beautiful. And it's true. So thank you to Caden and Dan. We were really, when we first had the vision for this, we were like video gamey.
We originally wanted to do this on Twitch, honestly, but we couldn't figure out everything that we needed to figure out in order to do that.
Yeah.
So.
But we were just told Caden and Dan, like, the way that both of them took the vision that we had for
we gave
this,
them about 2 sentences of vision.
Yeah. And then they created the artwork that you saw, which still blows me away to this day. And it makes me so happy to have incredibly talented friends, first of all, because when I saw Caden's stuff for us, and then when I heard Dan's music, I was like, I almost cried, being like, whoa, you guys took what we said and then you made it like us and so much better and bigger and happier than we ever could have.
They made it exactly how we... I don't understand how they did.
Exactly, and then also...
It made me feel very seen because they just, like, knew what we wanted without us ever communicating it, which is, like, the ideal sort of type of partnership.
Yeah,
where you don't have to communicate at all. Yeah. You communicate only via ESP and vibes.
And that's what happened.
That is what happened.
That is going to be our waiting room where we'll just start that a little bit before our go time.
Yeah, then
so
everybody
that you can have
a
it
chat
queued up.
A jam session.
Have your jam sesh, do your knitting, have your, what else? Get your drinks in order.
Oh, God.
That last little situation.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm destroying the ranunculus.
Do you like
it's
our
ranunculus
flowers?
season.
Ugh, the best flower that exists.
I need to tell you all something, which is that I'm a flower girly. I like to have flowers in my house. I always try to have them in my house. However, I haven't been a flower girly for like a year because I can't afford them. Everything is so expensive. So I haven't been treating myself to flowers at all, but I had to.
We had to for Knit Nat
for
Chit
you.
Chat.
And look at how cute they are with the
so
glue and
pretty.
the purple.
Love.
Love.
That is both of our favorite flower, by the way. We
One of mine.
learned that today. It's my
who
actual
doesn't
favorite.
love a ranunculus? It is.
I don't know.
It is. It's you look at it and it feels like a miracle. It's so like a perfect form.
Okay.
Just like
we
you
have. Aw, did everyone hear that? I almost missed it because I was reading the chat.
What
and
are
the
people
chat
saying?
says we need to tell what lipstick we're wearing. You need to tell me.
This is my ultimate favorite red. I like orange reds. I feel like it's not reading super orange, but it is MAC So Show. Is CHAUD French for what
hot.
is hot? Okay.
So Show.
So Show. And it's like just like a matte MAC lipstick from their I don't know what collection. It's like a permanent part of the collection. I've been wearing it since
And we're wearing the same
2006 and we're wearing the same one.
Wow, let's use that for the thumbnail. We actually should incorporate that anyway.
Yeah.
Posing for our thumbnails. So everybody, I know we've already been going for a while, but now is when we really are going to get down to
The form of the show.
the form of the show,
Which
is called
moving into a little section called Orders of Business. When I text my friends in a business-like manner, every time I text my friends, it's in a business-like manner.
Of course. It's a Capricorn
And I
Mercury.
say, I do have a Capricorn Mercury. Some of the only Earth in my chart, unfortunately for you. I like to text my friends and say, okay, I have X orders of business that I would like to address. And so in this show, we will be having 2 orders of business exactly every time. One order of business will be Knit Nat.
And one order of business will be, you guessed it, Chit Chat.
So shall we launch into the Knit Nat portion?
Do we have anyone here who likes to knit?
Who here likes to knit?
Who here likes to knit?
Wait, this unlocked a wild memory for me.
Yes.
In the deep dark days of COVID, we had an Among Us arc, and Park, James, and I were in a chat room one night, and in an Among Us room, I should say, where you can chat. We really turned the Among Us room into a chat room.
We only played the game to chat. You can see why we needed to have an actual chat show, because we were turning everything into just let's have a chat room.
We really were. And we met a lady in a chat room who said she was a knitter from Canada. And we said, oh, we're designers. Well, how about we all send you our entire pattern library or something?
That's
so
right.
Weird.
We did do that.
We did that.
That is a dark uncovered memory.
We had a lot of fun there.
We should do that kind of stuff more. That's funny.
Yeah. It is funny.
It's funny to say we're going to send you our entire
Because
pattern library.
Well, we told her we were designers, and I think she didn't believe us. And then we sent patterns, and she was like, oh, you were serious?
Yeah, we take everything serious. We joke.
We love to terrorize people.
And we joke in a very serious way. So we are now entering the portion we like to call Knit Nat.
Are we I feel like I want it because I just did I immediately want to show what I'm knitting right now, but
go ahead. I didn't bring what I'm not knitting anything right now, and that we need to talk about that, which is I have something that I need to be knitting right now, but I have yet to have the time to even think about how to get it on my needles and cast on. So I've had to rip it out like 3 times.
What are you knitting right now?
It's private.
Mine isn't private. I have, oh my gosh, here, hold on. First, I want to show you my little knitting bag from Oh Wow Amsterdam. It's actually from the Lemon Kid on Bainbridge Island, but on it I have a little button.
Oh, sorry.
That my friend Lindy gave me. And it says,
can you read it?
Baby farts a lot, which is true. I do. Anyway. I am working on this is Magpie Fibers Equinox worsted. I believe it's a linen and silk blend. It's beautiful. But it's like, it's about a worsted weight yarn. And this is the back. I am doing a 4x4 rib version of my Ripple crop top pattern, but I'm making it long sleeved. And I think I'm going to release it in the fall. So I'm doing it quite a while ahead of time.
It's pretty.
But I love this color. I've been very into I love this like kind of French blue, periwinkle blue. I think this colorway is called Into the Mystic.
It's pulling very like pale on here.
Yeah,
just know it's almost has a teeny bit periwinkle is right. It's like a little bit purple.
That's what I've been working on, or what I've been knitting on at least. I'm also I've been swatching for an all over lace. I haven't decided if it's going to be a tee or like a long sleeve tee for the summer. And I also am swatching on some, another tank top design that is going to have a little bit of a like lace, simple lace.
Someone noticed that your notebook matches your project bag. Yes. I also have a matching one, but I didn't bring the bag. Oops, next time.
Yeah, and these are Oh Wow Amsterdam. I think they're hand painted.
They are hand painted. Their colorways of these are so
cool.
Pretty.
Yeah, they're and I think that these designs are like specific to the Lemon Kid. So
we have our notebooks out in case we ever need to take a little note.
Yeah.
They're empty right now.
They're empty, but I think that I intend to write in this if we need talk about something that we
keep notes.
Yeah, talk about something that we need to include in the show notes or whatever.
So our next little bit is we're going to talk about what designs we have put out this year since January 2025. And should I go first to just get it out of the way real quick? Which is I've only put out one design. It's okay. Slow and steady sometimes wins the race. And it's not a race. But the design that I did put out, I don't know if you think I look so cute right now, but if you do, it's because it is this pattern, my Puff Puff Princess blouse, which James N. Watts named.
Incredible. These sleeves are so like structural and beautiful.
It's knit out of Malabrigo's Rasta, which I love Malabrigo and I love Rasta. It is a single ply, so you do have to like shave it every so often, but it like pills a little bit. But I really wanted to knit it out of this because I wanted the thick, amazing structure. Like the sleeve holds itself in its little form, which I love, and I just think this color is so pretty. I have worn this pattern, I've worn my sample now to my sister's baby shower, which was like in February, so it was love core themed. I wore it to Valentine's Day. I'm gonna wear it to your birthdays in the future. I can't wait to wear it to like holiday. So I'm really getting my wear out of this.
Very multifunctional.
Yes. And I have to say, not to toot my own horn,
you could fit
but
so many fish in those sleeves. Everybody said. Mare said that. So true, Mare.
That's more
I'm gonna start
something
sneaking
Jessie
fish
will
in there.
do. But not to toot my own horn, but toot. Every time I wear it, I get major compliments.
I'll toot your torn. Toot your torn.
You should toot
toot,
my
toot,
torn.
toot, toot, toot. That's me tooting your horn.
Toot my torn.
This deserves many a tootin', okay?
Well, it is, as you can see, this little girly loves a puff sleeve as well.
I love a little puff sleeve. It's true.
So that is what I designed. It came out end of February, and I now have another pattern that is coming out next week called the Farmland Sweater. And it's just a classic drop sleeve, simple sweater. I'm very excited about that because that's another one of my samples that I wear all the time because I knit my sample out of, is it Cormo? Yeah, Cormo, which I love Cormo yarn. It like feels like sweatshirt material. Yeah. And then I just sent off another test knit, so we should have a park and knit pattern next week and next month. And if I get something on my needles,
maybe even the month
maybe
after
even
that.
in May.
Somebody said, how long did it take to design the pattern?
Ooh, wow.
She kind of, you ripped back about 4 times in this, I feel like.
I did. I really
She
wanted
wanted
to
to be
perfect
perfect, yeah.
the puff sleeves. So I did like probably 4 or 5 different versions of them. I'm very happy with what we landed on. But I had a whole different sample of it that I had going at the same time as this one. So it took me a little bit longer than just a pattern that I didn't have to do a lot of workshopping for, but still, because it's knit, it's super bulky yarn. So the pattern itself, once that was done, the sweater knit up in like a week. Pretty amazing.
It is super fast, but you worked really hard to like make it perfect. So props to you. Look at how beautiful that is.
Thank you.
I love it.
She loves it. Everything I do, I try to hope that Jessie May loves it.
It's true. I mean, I do love everything that you do. Everything that you design.
Thank you to someone who said that they are right now knitting my Spirit Week stripes.
Babe, and
someone knitting my Jet Set tunic. The Jet Set tunic photos will forever go down in history because if you haven't seen them, you got to.
They'll forever go down in the history of many of the men walking the streets of Dubrovnik that day. I'll say that much. No offense to Croatia, but that's not how they dress there.
Yeah, so they were staring, and rightly so. They're not rightly so. Okay,
there's a lot of side cleavage.
There's a lot of
I would
side
be
boob.
staring.
Yeah. And
Rightly so.
I said it's okay to stare.
But we did a beautiful photo shoot at like right kind of near the city walls, like
Really
on
pretty.
film, and it was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when James lived in Croatia and we went and visited him.
So Jessie, what have you put out? Let's get to.
I've been putting out so much.
Let me say what's real. What haven't you put out?
I haven't put out any pants.
Okay, true.
Oh, where to begin? Okay. Shall I go in
Please,
sequential
we love
order?
to have props.
Okay, I think the first thing I released this year were these Sunday swirl socks. These are a pair of socks that it's a heel flap and gusset construction, and then there's like a really simple cabling pattern with lace in between the cables.
They're so pretty.
They're so pretty. They're like maybe my favorite socks that I've designed. They're like very like elegant looking and beautiful in my opinion. I did these as part of a 4-sock collaboration with Ritual Dyes in their Maiden Base. This is such a like nice like it's a soft yarn that has high twist, and it just has like a nice really squishy feel that I'll get into when I talk about my second pair of socks that I released, which are the Sweet Squish socks. These really squish with every step, if you know what I mean.
Squish,
Squish, squish, squish. This
Squish,
is a
squish.
brioche pair of socks. So they are very squishy in the brioche aspect. Putting my hand in a sock like it's a foot is very me. It's a classic me move. Sometimes I look at my hands for too long and they look like a foot to me. Anyway.
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second to sing your praises, which is someone in the chat has said, Jessie, your Cozy Classic Raglan was the very first garment I successfully knit. And for those of you who are not familiar with Jessie's patterns, you should be, because that comment is right in line with it. She lays them out so beautifully.
I try.
Easy to follow. It's it is a joy.
Sometimes
to knit
I
a Jessie
fear
knit
that
pattern.
I'm losing my touch. I will say that when I started writing patterns, I feel like I was writing really beginner-friendly patterns because I was a little bit of a beginner knitter, so I was sort of explicitly stating every single step. And, you know, things that I think that people who've been designing for a while become intuitive to you, right? But to a beginner, they're not intuitive anymore. So I used to write my patterns in that style, and I feel that as I've gotten more experience, I sort of have, like, expected that people will grow with me in that way. But like what if somebody comes to a pattern now and they're like not a beginner, right?
Well, I have to say something, which is that even your beginning ones that you say you like made sure every step, you still walked a very fine line, and it was like it's not like you were like spoon feeding people, or it's the classic teach a man to fish, okay? Let me use it in
that
terms.
is something that I believe in. It's like if you teach somebody why they're doing something, then I don't have to explain it later, right? But I can't expect that everybody who knits one of my patterns has knit every one of my patterns.
No, but you said even in those ones that you teach them why you're doing it, you are not. What I'm trying to say is you are not over explaining every single thing, or there still is a level of like there's an exchange here. You have to put in a little bit of work to figure it out, and I'm going to put in work on my end to figure it out. And then you're like, even saying like there's a YouTube tutorial for it or something, it helps people be like, oh, I need to look up YouTube tutorials or that kind of stuff. So anyway, Knit Jessie's patterns. Thank you.
I do love to encourage people to like, you know, have agency like over their own knitting and to like learn, you know, learn more stuff. It's good. So
did you get a good look at these?
Oh, did you get a good look at these? I did have them on my hand, like a
Beautiful.
quadrupedal mammal rather than
Gorgeous.
a bipedal one. Okay. I guess I'll do my sweaters. Oh my god, I forgot a new design.
Oh yeah.
New design leak.
Ooh, pretty.
Exclusive to Knat Chit Chat. These are a sock I'm calling Denim Dip. They are in ritual dyes, and here let me give you a little treat. I was trying to decide what to call these because of course not everybody is going to use this ritual dyes yarn in Hyacinth, a beautiful color. I'm really drawn to these like purpley blues lately. But this has like something I like to call a V-neck detail for a little bit of sexy toe cleave.
Ugh.
Something that I love personally.
Something Jessie really loves. She's not joking when she says that.
I'm really excited about these. I think they're extremely elegant and beautiful. These are a toe-up sock with a Flegel heel.
Flegel heel.
A Flegel heel. And I also released a sock called Mosswalker sock last month. Yes. James N. Watts has received those as a gift, so I don't have them. But they're another sort of lace and cabled sock. That was also a toe up with Flegel heel construction. So those are my sock patterns. Nobody else has seen these denim dip socks, by the way.
That's a Knit Chit
Knit
Chat
Chit Chat exclusive. Let me just move all of my things out of my way. Sorry. Okay. I feel like I've been talking about my designs for so long.
That's what happens when you release 6 of them in like 1 month.
I've been working a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then we have a little something called Big Little Stripes, named so because it is big and it has little stripes. It's done in a bulky yarn, and it's like micro stripes. It's 2-row stripes with a little bit of like a slip stitch graphic detailed on the arms and sides. This is knit in the Lamb and Kid Big Birdie, a really beautiful alpaca and silk combo blend. And I love it. It has most of my patterns have short row shaping at the back neck, so the back neck is rounded, and then on the shoulder here, and then this has like a slightly set in sleeve. I mean, the sleeve is set in. It's more set in on some sizes than others, just due to the proportions of the pattern. But yeah, I Really like this one.
Cute.
It's cozy. It's cute.
You might have
It's red
recognized
and
it
pink.
from our photo that we posted on Knat Chit Chat.
Yeah. But maybe not. Okay, I have one more. One more pattern and then I can be done.
So pretty too.
I love this one. This is done in the Wandering Flocks fluff. Another sort of
periwinkle
alpaca. Another
color, too.
periwinkle. It's like a very sort of basic
Let's hold it
alternating cable pattern.
Gorgeous.
Drop sleeves. There is neckline shaping. There's like a kind of a round neckline with optional. I gave people the option of doing either like a ribbed neck that's a little more tightly fitting, or an I-cord. I don't like tight things around my neck personally, and this is a sweater for me, so I just did an I-cord. But I love this sweater.
So
I love the
pretty.
yarn I made it in, and I think that covers my work, at least from the last since 2025.
How many was that?
I think it's like
5
or 6.
Wow.
Yeah,
Very
too many,
impressive.
honestly, but life is hard, man. Life is hard and I need to pay rent. So,
Yep. Well, speaking of all those sock patterns you just released.
Why is James saying bahaha just tell people?
Oh, because it's chat. It's
Oh,
chat
I thought
stuff.
I thought he was talking to
No.
us. No, please have your little conversation.
Please.
I love it.
Keep chatting. So, Jessie, start us off on our ode to sock knitting, because you are really in your
As you know,
sock knitting
I
time.
love knitting socks. I mean, I definitely have been in more intense sock knitting eras. I feel like there was a time when I was knitting like a sock a week. And I hadn't released any socks, but I find it to be such a soothing, like meditative practice. It's easy to remember, how to knit one, I think. And once you know the formula, it becomes intuitive and it's just really relaxing. And it's also kind of fast, in my opinion. It's so nice to quickly, like, to do something, to just work on something for a couple days and then have it be done. It's very gratifying, especially like in moments where my life feels really stagnant or I feel like I can't, do anything. I find sock knitting to be very therapeutic.
I had only ever knit one pair of socks before actually, now that I think about it, I've only ever knit 3 pairs of socks in my
I
life.
didn't know that about you, babe.
I'd only ever knit one, and I knit it. Wait, is that okay? No. That's wrong. I have probably knit 5 pairs of socks now. So I knit one pair the old classic way, cuff down. Is that what it's called? Mm-hmm. Yeah, cuff down on DPNs, double pointed needles, and I really liked it. I was like, oh, this feels classic. It feels like I'm knitting.
Like when people imagine somebody knitting,
Yes,
they imagine
exactly.
somebody knitting a sock often, especially
Exactly
when you
like
have,
that.
the double points.
Yeah,
something that I don't use, but Park loves.
You feel like you're doing something very
Ancient.
like ancient, back to the root of knitting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also very tedious, and it was like, okay, here's one sock and now I'm kind of done. And I like to use DPNs for like bottoms of sleeves and stuff. I am not always a huge magic loop person, but Jessie, I can't remember quite what we were doing, but you were really deep in your sock arc, and I was kind of like, I don't really want to do that. And then you're like, but you might really like it. Get these needles and the magic loop.
Oh, because you were having issues with the join, I think, and I was like, if you get the Chow
Well, I was not having issues with the join because I hadn't even tried magic loop. I just was tired. I just was like, I don't really want to knit socks. It's not fun. And then I had never tried toe up. And that's when Jessie introduced me to
the greatest knitting technique ever. No disrespect to any other knitting techniques. Talk about ancient magic.
Judy's magic cast on.
A cast on that was invented by like a woman named Judy. I wish I knew her last name, in Minnesota in like the mid 2000s, I believe. She posted it on YouTube, and it's like a type of provisional cast on that is amazing and creates like a closed toe, and it's fun. It's so fun I have this idea in my head that I want to do, that I've been wanting to do. That Park has been begging me to do. It's like a hat that starts with Judy's magic cast on and a bunch of stitches, just because it's so fun to do.
It's like you go like tick tock,
tick tock. It's the rhythm is beautiful. There are many knitting techniques that are named magic, and only I could rank them in
Most of them are magic, actually.
Most of them are magic, but some of them are more magical than others.
Yeah.
And I would put Judy's Magic Cast On towards the top at least.
And it was like also, yes, the needles, like the magic loop, everything just worked really well to make it easy and seamless. So I knit a couple pairs like that.
Wait, hold on. Is the reason maybe it wasn't in this pattern, because we have a sock pattern that I remember when we were like, let's knit socks and let's find a basic sock pattern that we like. And we both settled on Tanis Fiber Arts Trusty Toe Up Socks, which I would recommend to everybody if you want to learn. These are. That's also what these are.
They're kind of, she also made the pattern, again, that was Tanis Trusty Toe Up Socks. Yes. It's a free pattern. And she made the patterns kind of specifically to be amazing for self-striping yarn. And as you can see, it is. It's so pretty. This yarn is from Mud Punch. Yours is also from Mud Punch, right?
I love Mud Punch. Mud Punch is a dyer. I think that she lives in Canada. I'm not exactly sure where. Maybe Alberta?
I'm not sure.
Any Mud Punch heads in the chat, let us know. I love her. She dyes beautiful colors. She has great politics. And look at these colors.
You do need to be prepped for a shop drop, though. Like,
shop drops on Saturday. Yeah, she posts about it on Instagram, though. She does like the best videos where she, a week ahead of time or a few days ahead of time will show all of the colors she's going to drop, and then you just have to be there like a date on Saturday.
I can't remember which colorway this is, but you will be able to see because there's like swatches on her websites. And anyway, the self-striping socks really did it for me because you just get another row, another stripe, another stripe.
Yeah.
But then I quickly stopped my sock arc. I only knit this pair. Then I found out, when my best friend Jessie is on her sock arc, sometimes I get socks from her. So then she just knit me socks. And
I do love to knit. I love to knit a sock and give it away.
I guess I did do one sock pattern, which was my shock socks, which I didn't bring.
So cute.
They're very cute.
Yeah, I love sock knitting. Anyway, I was going to say that I think in Tanis's, maybe it's not in Tanis's pattern, maybe it was in a different one, but I feel like maybe in Tanis's pattern she tells you to use Judy's Magic Cast On. Maybe she doesn't.
I think she does.
Oh, okay. So that's how I learned it. So I must have, maybe I knit that pattern before you did, and you were like, "What?"
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You had already
and I was
knit
like,
the pattern.
"Let me tell you about this cast."
Yeah, you had already knit the pattern. You had already done Judy's. You were already doing toe up, and I was like, "This is everything that I want."
Yeah, and it makes me like love both toe up and kind of cuff down equally. Toe up is so pleasing to me because I get to start with Judy's Magic Cast On. I also love a Flegel heel, which is a heel that was new to me before I did these
never
socks.
heard of a Flegel heel.
A Flegel heel is a little bit like a reverse like heel flap and gusset, kind of. It's like you just knit like normal, and then you make gusset increases, and then you do short rows to resolve those increases. So the short row is like on the back of the heel rather than underneath the heel.
My brain does not work like that.
Anyway.
To picture that. Someone asked for a real question. How do you knit 2 socks at a time?
Maybe I should do content about that.
Yeah, it's like basically if you can picture in your head magic loop, there's 2 ways to do 2 at a time. One of them is with 2 circular needles where you just kind of have them both like this. Like, let me see my socks.
It's like magic open loop kind of.
If my socks were like this, actually I'll just do it like this, but picture one needle holding these front lines, holding this, and one needle holding the back. Yeah. And you're going like but magic loop is the same. You just have an extra long needle and you have them have the
I do it on 32. I do 2 at a time on magic loop with a 32-inch needle, and it's perfectly fine.
And you just have to work magic loop, but just 2 times
with 2 ends of yarn too. So you're doing I usually just do 2 things from the same ball, like one from the end of the yarn, one from the middle of the skein.
But that is pretty fun to do 2 at a time.
I always do 2 at a time, and
no
you
second
can't,
sock syndrome.
No second sock syndrome. I like to do 2 at a time. When I'm doing the flat portions, I do them each individually, but that's really easy. You just only work half of the stitches on the needle until you're at the same point. It's so satisfying to do 2 at a time. So much of the time that sock knitting takes for me is just pulling the needle through, right? And so you're saving a lot of time by doing 2 at a time. And it also keeps the same tension and ensures that your sock is the exact same size. So
I need to actually tell a funny story about that, which is when I worked at the yarn shop, Sister Arts in Chicago, one of the knitters who is like always at our knit nights, they were like, I knit 1 sock when I was in a happy, healthy relationship, and then I knit the other sock after my breakup, and one of them, like, there was probably 4 sizes difference in the 2 socks. So another reason to do 2 at a time.
It's true.
You also
sometimes
know
you
that
come to it so much later.
You'll know that the foot length is the same and everything because you get to the heel at the same time and everything.
I love sock knitting. I love Mud Punch's self-striping yarn. A lot of the best self-striping yarn in my experience, or like most unique stuff that I found, is actually on Etsy. It's like people who only dye that type of yarn. So if you're ever looking for like a self-striping yarn, I often will just look it up on Etsy. I really have been into like 12 color or like, you know, sock yarns that have a lot of color changes.
Knit me a pair. It's so pretty.
Yeah. And so, and we also, and another shout out to Tanis. It's Tanis Fiber Arts. Her name, I think her full name is Tanis Lavely. She's a great follow. She's always like posting really like fun knitting content, but also like fun family content. Like she has a really cute family and they're always like cooking together, and her kids are just like so cute.
And they're Canadian
They're
too.
Canadian, yeah.
Chat really quick. I was just wondering, how is the lighting, and do you want more purple video game vibes in the back? Because I kind of do. Jessie, what about you? And what about chat?
I don't know if I can get more. Hold on. I think
you
we're
wanted
as high as we can go, babe.
Oh,
We're
sorry,
as high as we
chat.
can go, and we also have it over there.
Okay.
I wish we had it a little more
Then
over there.
let me tell you something, which is, do you guys like the purple lights behind us?
Because we could change. We could change it.
Oh,
to
you're right. We
anything you
can change
want.
other colors. We'll let you all see.
How about...
Oh, we're just going to do... Ooh,
Ooh, I like the purple more.
me too.
How about spooky orange?
No.
How about green? No, purple.
No, purple
right. Is right.
I just think I needed to call your attention to it.
Oh yeah, and I was really wanting the same vibe. Watching that video that Caden made really made me wish my apartment looked exactly like that. And it looks, I mean, he did it based on a photo of my apartment, but the lighting is so beautiful. I wish that I had little neon green coming from my tea right now.
Yeah, me too. Wish we did.
Somebody said the red to match us.
It was cute, but we'll stick with purple today. Sorry for asking a question to the chat and then just having us answer it.
How is the light on our faces? Is it looking dark? Is it looking okay? What do you think? Because we could we get more light? Actually, I don't
Not
know
really.
if we could.
Sorry for continuing to ask questions about the setup,
No,
which we have
well,
exactly as it has to be.
That's true. I guess it couldn't be any brighter than that.
Circling back to sock knitting, which Jessie talked about how it kind of healed her, and it was
always heals me.
anytime I
need
need to just
healing.
have it's like a restart.
Yeah. Yes. When I've lost my like inspiration or my knitting, practice or, sort of rhythm in the way of designing, or I feel kind of far away from it, I always come back to sock knitting and it pulls me back in.
And we wanted to shout out our friend and fellow knitwear designer who is present in the chat, James N. Watts, who just started a Substack because I told him to.
An incredible Substack.
And it is so far so funny. There have been 3 posts, and we bring it up because the first one was just to give you a little taste of the humor, the
vibe.
James has the power of prose. Yes. Okay, an incredible writer. The title is
I knit a sock and it healed my inner girl boss.
And then the subtitle is How a Heel Flap and Gusset Brought the Long Lost Twinkle Back into My Eye.
That really makes me laugh.
So go and
if it
subscribe.
doesn't make you laugh, we have different senses of humor.
Yeah,
and
but
that's okay.
It is
funny. But know that it's funny.
Know that it's funny, and you'll get such good crafting content, humor. It's called Sorry I'm Good at Everything is the Substack. Actually, that was just the sock one was just the first newsletter you get, and it is all about all of James's many hobbies
and talents. James is good at everything. If you're not familiar with him or his work, I assume everybody here. I always assume that if somebody follows us or James, that they follow us as a group, but that's not necessarily true. Yeah. James is so talented. He is so funny, and he has 50 million talents. And his Substack talks about everything that he does, which is playing violin, playing piano, doing 5 million other crafts like inkle loom. He's been inkle loom weaving. Yeah.
So much.
Jewelry making.
So sign up.
Sign up if you're real. If you like humor. If you don't like humor or funny things, or if you're not a tasteful person, you don't have to, but
but sign up.
I think he said in the first newsletter, he said something like that. He was
of
like...
Of course. It's always going to be like that. It's so funny. It's perfect.
It's very funny.
What we wanted to talk about next in our Knit Nat section are some of our favorite summer and spring yarns, because I really feel like we've knit the gamut.
We have knit the gamut, and
I
love
so many
knitting spring patterns.
Yeah.
If I'm wearing a knit garment, I usually prefer that it's like a lighter,
Jessie
fiber.
does not love a wool.
I have sensory issues. Yeah. Almost all wool makes me itchy, even merino. So it's just a personal.
So we just thought, because it's March, everyone. So it is time to start planning our spring and summer knits.
Summer is here, as I like to say.
Summer is here. So
my favorite thing to do is to post a teaser of a summer pattern in January and say summer is here.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with one of our favorites, both of our favorites. This is Ritual Dye's Undine, and this is just their regular Undine. It's a fingering weight. It's looking very, very, actually, it is very pink in real life. I was just like, it's because of the lights on, but
it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful pink. It's called Dragon Fruit, and Undine is 60% cotton and 40% linen. And you have something in it, right?
I do. I have a couple things in it. I mean, I've knit extensively with Undine. It's probably, I don't know, it maybe is my favorite summer yarn.
It's hard to describe it because it's, how do I describe it?
It has a crunch to it, but it also is like soft. It has that linen crunch, but it also has softness and drape. That is really beautiful.
Knitting with it, it's like crunchy, and then
my favorite thing about it is that it's unsplittable. If you want to knit in the dark, if you want to knit lace, you cannot split this yarn. It is so tightly plied. This is my outline tank, and you can just kind of see, the drapiness in this yarn.
This is the summer peach.
This is the summer peach colorway, and then I also have
beautiful.
Yeah, this is just a little sort of summer V-neck. One of my most popular summer designs, actually.
A very fun drop stitch detail.
And then this is a pattern from, I think, 2 summers ago. It is the Totally Tank Top. It is a racerback tank in Undine and the color Jewel Weed. This is such a beautiful, vibrant, orangey red. And the drape it's just incredible, and it's cool. It feels cool against your skin.
It's very pleasant to wear all summer long, and we are in pretty high humidity here in the summer.
Cotton alone is very hot to me. So having a little bit of linen.
So that is Ritual Dye's Undine, and then was it last year? Yeah. Ritual Dyes came out with their Undine DK, which I also love. So this is my sporty pattern, and this is also in the colorway Jewel Weed.
Maybe hold it further back. Yeah. This Jewel Weed colorway is so beautiful. It matches you so perfectly.
Yeah, we're really in the red-orange face.
This feels like sweatshirt material. It's kind of wild. It feels like
so
a really
nice.
nice high quality, like cotton terry almost when it's knit up.
It's just a bit thicker than the other one, and it is less crunchy, just a little bit less crunchy, but it's not as soft as some other, like,
It really
cotton
has
linen
like
ones.
the feeling of a sweatshirt to me.
By soft, I don't mean like texture-wise soft. I mean like, you know when a cotton like really doesn't hold its shape at all, or that vibe? It doesn't feel limp like that.
It's
I
not
guess.
limp. It has like some structure to it. Yeah. I
I
would say
love
it's like
this.
the difference between holding a cotton t-shirt or something, right? That sometimes it has a little bit of like a lasting in it or something, but versus holding a sweatshirt that has a little bit of like, you know, a tooth and a crispness, one might call it. Crispness.
So those are our ritual dyes, Undine. We love Undine.
We love our ritual
Big
dyes,
fans
and we love
of Rachel,
our Undine.
Martha, everyone.
They're
at
great to
Ritual
work
Dyes.
with. If you are a designer, they're wonderful to collaborate with.
What should we move on to next? Oh, do your front.
Oh, okay. This is a pattern that I released last year. It is called the Rolled Edge Tank. It is kind of like a fuller coverage, basic, somewhat fitted tank. It has 0 ease. I think it's 0 to 2 inches of ease. But I did this in Confluence Cotton, which is a Farmer's Daughter Fibers base. That base is 80% Targhee and Rambouillet and 20% cotton. So it's still, if you like wool, it has that like kind of warmth. But this also has a little bit of like a crispness to it, like a crunchy, almost Cormo type feel. I know it's not Cormo,
It's not itchy either.
it's
nice.
And Park modeled it, so she knows it's not itchy. But it has this like beautiful hand dyed, you can kind of see like a little bit of almost not variegation, but it just looks, you know, it looks hand dyed and it's really pretty. It's sort of
It's a little denim-y almost.
yeah,
looking.
yeah, I love that. I've really been into this baby blue and red, as you can tell. But yeah, it's a great, I would say, moving into summer fiber because it does have that wool in it that keeps it a little warm. But you modeled this for me in
Middle of July.
in the middle of June, maybe. I think it was.
July?
Oh, was it July? June or July? No, it was.
July.
This was my first summer pattern last year, so it might have been May.
I'm picturing. Yes, I'm picturing when we were in Washington.
Yeah, but it was very. You didn't find it to be too hot. Like I think it felt good to you. So good for like a spring night or summer night.
Yeah,
I would say
it's lovely, lovely yarn. Another one,
and it's I think it's sport weight. Sorry.
Another one of our favorites is a new yarn. Cotton
Lino.
Last year came out. This is called Wandering Flock Cotton Lino, and this is. Let me read exactly what all's in it. 35% organic cotton, 30% mulberry silk, 20% linen, and 15% alpaca. So a real mix of fibers in here, and it is lovely to knit with.
So nice.
It has the
hand.
matte feel of silk.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're knitting it and it almost feels matte. It has that aspect to it.
But it also has the slip. It doesn't have the thing where it like sticks on your needle.
It's really lovely. This is my tea time sweater, which is a lace
It is
drop
beautiful.
sleeve.
Did you make up this lace?
No.
No. Oh.
And,
Well, it's a very beautiful, simple lace. It's gorgeous.
and
It's kind of botanical looking.
yeah, it looks like little leaves. When I knit this, I immediately cast on another design with the yarn because I was like, I love knitting with this. So that is Wandering Flocks Cotton Lino.
I designed a t-shirt in this last year. I forgot to grab it before the show, but I use every color, I think, of it in like a kind of 4 or 6 row stripe t-shirt.
Yeah, beautiful colorways.
Really beautiful. It's like soft, elegant, beautiful colorways
A
that
great
all go
brown,
beautifully
like
together.
brownie,
a really good rusty
rusty.
brown, a denim-y colored blue, a sage, a baby pink, and then kind of like a mustardy yellow. I think there's also maybe a gray. I might be wrong.
Probably.
And there's a white. It's gorgeous. It's a really
Gorgeous.
beautiful yarn.
So that is Wandering
And that's also
Flock.
sport. It's sport weight, right? Or is it DK? Sport or DK, same difference.
Same diff. And the last one we were going to talk about is, wow, it's turning really green.
It looks cool. That's what it
It's
looks like to me in
fun.
real life. Yeah. Oh, it looks a little more yellow.
It looks more yellow than it is. It's a little bit more
In real life,
foamy.
it's kind of like a blue, not a blue green, but it's not a yellow tone green. It's a
not like
true
this.
shamrock type
Yeah,
Kelly green. almost.
Shamrock Shake. This is Kelborn Woolen's Mojave, and it's a 60% cotton and 40% linen also, and DK weight, right? I think
Yeah.
so. This is the colorway Pickle, which is very fitting for me as a huge lover of pickles. But yeah, the colors, just know that this is not the correct color as you're seeing. It's got a little bit more.
It looks so yellow. It's
know.
yeah. It's just I would say it's
Maybe
like
we need
a
to put
cool,
something else up
a
next
cool
to it.
toned
Nope.
green. It's Kelly green. It's like very.
You can find it on my Instagram or Ravelry. This is called the Gushy Garter Vest that I made.
Yeah.
So it's garter stitch, and it is cute, and the color is more correct on my Instagram.
I will say that the hand of this yarn, it's kind of loosely plied and it's very limp almost feeling.
Yeah.
But in this, it's nice and stiff.
Yeah, it's a kind of a tight gauge.
Sexy.
Sexy
Yeah.
tight.
Feels nice. I like it.
Wow, that is our those are our main recs for the summer and spring.
We got through all of that.
fiber situation. Let's show them all again.
Oh, I'm not lifting my pile. It's
Let me
too
show
big.
you all mine again.
Here are my summer yarn. Here's my summer yarn pile. And there was so much more I could have shown, but oh.
Perfect. Oh, got it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what's next? Oh, you guys.
Something beautiful.
Huge
has happened.
news. Huge news has happened. That concludes the Knat portion of our orders of business.
And now we can get to our true passion.
ding.
Chit chat.
Chit chat.
Chit chat portion.
Okay, not to immediately say there's more huge news, but there is more huge news. And that is that we have a Chit Chat hotline that you can call or text. You can leave us a voicemail or text us any of your thoughts. What kind of things do you think people could call about?
Well, I want to say first that already doing this is like, I wish that I could watch this as it's happening because I want to participate in the chat so bad, but it's also
Yeah.
really hard to track
I know.
what's happening in the chat. So if there's something that you like say in the chat that you really want us to know or that we miss or like don't address,
true.
please call the hotline so that we can sort of, hear what you have to say and then maybe address it in the next episode.
I love calling it a hotline.
Yes.
It's so funny.
If you have like an important piece of gossip that you need to share, just call the hotline and let us know and we might
gossip, things you just want to tell us,
Yeah.
happy things,
Compliments.
that happened, compliments, we
advice
love
or like
compliments.
suggestions for future segments or even like lighting or sound or
any
anything.
constructive
Yeah.
criticism, you name it, we're
Yeah.
here. We can't wait to chat with you on our hotline. So, do you have your pens and paper out? If not, you can find it
You can
in the show
replay the
notes.
video.
You can also put it in the we'll put it
You
in
can just
the
watch
show
those over and
description.
over.
And we also will
We'll
say
put
it
it in the
again
show
at the
description.
end. But the phone number is
872
872
204 6976.
76.
Emphasis on the 69. How do we get that number? Not on purpose, that's for sure.
And again, that is
872 204 6976.
please call us.
Take two was perfect.
Bring, bring.
Bring, bring.
So the chit chat portion is basically just going to be anything we want to chat about.
Yeah.
Which today is a little bit of kind of the activities that we've been up to, things we like to do, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like maybe a get to know us better. We were talking before the show about how it's kind of hard because we need to be really conscious about filling people in on like old jokes or, I think that it's like really easy to fall into like our friendship and
Yeah, we have a very
established friendship and like way we communicate and joke, and I think it's important to like clarify if we're not explaining something or if we
True.
are having a little winky moment and
True.
yeah. So yeah, what should we talk about first?
I was wondering if we could talk about what books we are reading.
I would love to talk about
Jessie
what books
May.
we're reading.
What book are you reading right now?
Park. I'm reading a little book called, let me go through my pile, my little rat pile over here.
Prop pile.
Rat pile. A little book called Love Medicine by Louise Erdrich. I believe that this book was published in 1984, the year after I was born. It is a book by an Ojibwe author who has actually an entire series that are of like related books, but it focuses on the life of this family. And I don't know, it's beautiful. It's kind of like a multi-generational look at this Ojibwe family. There's also some like Sioux influence. I know she's Turtle Mountain Band Ojibwe, which is in kind of central South Dakota. So there are Siouan people in that area and also Ojibwe people. So her prose is just so beautiful. It's like this book is beautiful and funny, and I'm using a James N. Watts original Inkle Loom bookmark in it. One of James's crafts. He gave us a bookmark. So this is what I'm reading. Yeah, Park, what are you reading?
Oh, thank you so much for asking.
Of course.
I happen to be reading a book called Love Medicine by Louise Erdrich. She's an Ojibwe author. It is a book that spans the many generations of a family. And I'm not actually joking. This is the book that I'm reading. However, I have a later version with not as they're just a different
art.
Cover and art. I didn't bring mine, but let me see. Have I read farther than you? Ooh, we are about at the same point in the book.
Nice.
That is fun.
That's because we read the same amount.
Yeah. Well, actually, it is funny because we did not plan to be reading this book at the same time. We didn't. But you had texted me about her picking up one of her other books at a bookstore, and then you told me about this one. And when I was in Boston at a bookstore, there it was, and I was like, okay, let me buy it. And I had a bunch of other books already ahead of it that I was reading, and you were kind of like in and out of wanting to read at the moment. Yeah. And then I was like, what are you reading these days? And you said Love Medicine. I said, oh, me too. So
this book begins with a sort of a family tree.
Yes.
And it has like, you know, it has children, it has like Ojibwe marriages, it has traditional Catholic marriages, it has like a very complicated family tree of how everybody's interrelated. And if you give that to a little Gemini like Park.
I was telling Jessie that like if there's a map at the beginning, if there is a family tree like this is how I read the book. I'm like reading and then something comes up and I'm like, let me get back to the beginning. Okay. So
somebody asked how we choose between reading and knitting, and some of us don't. Park does both at the same time.
Yeah, I do.
She puts her little book.
You can. I put my book.
She reads.
You get a little cookbook stand. Okay, so it holds your pages down, and you can have your book set up, and you can knit while you read, and then you just flip the page. You can also do it on a Kindle or an iPad or something. So you just like tap when it's ready, but my real go-to is I just knit during the day and then I read basically every night before bed. That's what I love to do.
My reading practice is not that consistent. I went through a horrible period last year where I started a book. I started a book that was pretty popular and that was kind of widely like recommended. Oh, yes. I'm not going to say what the book was because I don't want to disparage anybody's creative work.
No.
I will say that when I posted I was starting the book on Instagram, somebody DM'd me and said, I couldn't get through that book. It was boring. And I'm here to tell you, you were right. I couldn't get through this book. It was so boring. I did not care about any of the characters. I found most of them to be unlikable, which is not I don't care. Like sometimes it's fine to me if characters in a book are unlikable. Sometimes it's very compelling. I could not care at all about these people in this book, and but also I had like this type of like mental block where I felt like I had to finish it before I started a new book, but then I refused to finish it.
Yeah.
And I was stifled by like a weird mind thing that I did to myself.
A completist. You had to get through it.
I had to get through it, and I was like punishing myself for not getting through it.
Also, it's hard when people have like hyped it up or something.
Yeah,
and
I
then
was
you're
like, what am I missing? I do not care at all. Somebody asked if it was Lord of the Rings. I wish. No. I'm not going to say what the book was, but I will say it was boring, and I didn't like anybody in the book, and it ruined my knitting life for a moment.
Thank goodness you're done with
Thank goodness for
your reading
audiobooks,
life.
because the thing that got me over it was listening to the audiobook just so that I could have it be done and close it and be done with it forever. And then I started this book.
Speaking of audiobooks, I just finished the other one. I have the actual physical book here too, but
Samantha Irby is telling me to name it, and I'm not going to.
Sutton,
Sam, I'll text you.
If anyone
It was actually the book. Just kidding.
So anyway, this person's book was so horrible. No.
It has not been mentioned in the chat.
Speaking of audiobooks, I know I have the physical book here, but I just finished the audiobook for it like 2 or 3 days ago, and it is Hanif Abdurraqib's book, There's Always This Year, on basketball and ascension. And I don't even have words for how incredible this book was. Well, how incredible all of Hanif's books are and his writing. Obviously, if you're familiar with his work, wow. A brilliant writer, brilliant mind. This one I don't even love basketball. I don't follow basketball, but he takes, he just works his web of, I can't even put words to it. It's like,
he weaves a web and then he puts it together with one sentence in a way that's wild.
You go on all these journeys.
You don't know where it's going to end, and then it ends and it's like, oh, that makes so much sense, but how? How did you do that?
And I can't describe it, but it's like my brain opens up every time I read one of his books, because it's just,
and your heart too,
and your heart. It's you're wide open reading it, and you are so moved, and you're kind of also it catches you off guard where he goes with things, and you should read all his books. But what was amazing about this, and which I bow to any author that does this, reading your own audiobook. Hanif has not read all of his audiobooks, and so when I saw that he was reading this one, I was like, yes, amazing, because I really only love an audiobook, especially if it's nonfiction, when the author reads it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just finished that, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Another great way to knit and listen to an audiobook, reading and you're knitting. I
have been listening to more audiobooks recently.
Yeah.
I've been into it. I
love an audiobook.
I'm kind of poorly practiced in things where I just have to listen to them. I actually like podcasts, but I used to get lost in audiobooks. I don't process it quickly enough, I don't think. Or maybe I process it too quickly, and then I've been speeding it up, and it's been helping. If I listen on 1.5, it is really helpful. Because I lose focus otherwise.
Thank you for saying that, because I have been shamed for listening to podcasts or audiobooks on 1.5 speed sometimes.
Who's shaming you, me?
No.
Oh, somebody in the chat.
Should I name names?
No, I like to. So actually, sometimes 1.5 is a little bit too fast for me. I am old, and my hearing is reflective of that. So sometimes I'll listen on 1.3 or 1.4, but yeah.
I like to start at 1.2, then I speed it up as I start to get adjusted to 1.5, and I've been known to go to two times speed before. Sorry, my brain works like this. I can take it in. Yeah,
I finished. I listened to the Elizabeth Holmes book, Bad Blood, the book about Elizabeth Holmes, that lady who faked the blood testing machine, and they really let white ladies get away with everything. That book was wild, and the stuff she got away with, when you're well connected to powerful people, it was wild to
play with people's health that was so
and
wild.
I had been when it was happening, I had been keeping up with the news about her, so I knew a lot about it already, and I also had watched the documentary already, but reading the book made me want to watch the documentary again, because it's absurd, the stuff that happened. I don't know.
That Silicon Valley, they get up to wild stuff there. Now, what's our next topic? Our next topic is video games.
I'm on a big Stardew resurgence.
I feel like you always are.
No, I'm not. That's not true. I'll go a year without playing Stardew, and then I'll go a month where the only thing I want to do is play Stardew.
Sorry for doing my nose right now.
Yeah, Park is a nosebleed girly.
I don't have a nosebleed.
You don't get to be this beautiful and also not have an extreme ugly disability of having nosebleeds all the time. No offense to any nosebleed girlies. I'm glad that I'm not one so far. That's
I really
a
am one.
thing to
I got one
experience.
today. I get them often. I've even, not to tell you guys way TMI, but I've had my nose cauterized before where they've like burned.
I knew that.
Really?
No.
Yeah, they like burned the blood vessels in my nose, and they did get better for a while. But I don't have a bloody nose right now. It's just that when I get a little nervous and excited, my nose does start to run. Another horrible quality. Anyway.
Somebody asked who I'm married to in Stardew, and the answer, thank you. There are people in the chat who know. I'm an Elliot girl.
And I am also an Elliot
I will say
girl.
that like every person I date in real life is exactly like Elliot. So
yeah, Jessie's an Elliot girl.
I'm an Elliot
in
girl
all aspects of
in
life.
all aspects of life. He's perfect. However, the first time I played Stardew, I didn't marry anybody.
I still
much
have
like my
yet
real
to marry
life.
anyone, actually.
I let Krobus become my roommate because I love him, and he is the ultimate choice. in the
Krobus
game.
is so sweet. Yes.
I love Krobus. I rewatched. Stardew Valley did a speed run contest, like something called the Stardew Valley Cup, like 3 or 4 years ago, and one of the teams was called Krobus's Crocuses. It really makes me laugh. It was like Krobus's Crocuses, Pam's Yams, Pierre's Cherries. I forgot the last one, but all the names were really funny. Anyway,
So funny.
whenever I hear the name Krobus now, I think of Krobus's Crocuses. Crocus, a winter
Flower.
forage item, yeah,
Yes.
in Stardew, and a real flower in real life.
Jessie plays Stardew Valley. Let me just tell you a little story. Okay. So, for those of you who are not aware of Stardew Valley, it is a fun,
Casual,
emphasis
slow,
on casual, chill,
cute, cozy farming game.
farming game. You have a farm, you forage items,
You take your time.
take your time.
Some of us do.
And we all
More than
played,
others.
like all of us playing Stardew, we just had our own farms and we did our own thing. But then you also can play together online. So Jessie and James started this farm, and and you texted me to say like join the farm. So Caden and I
We
our
had
house,
already established a farm.
yes, the farm
and-
had already been going for a couple of
But
days.
we were having, James and I were in an impromptu farm sesh.
So Caden and I were invited to the farm sesh after the farm had already been
I
going
don't know
on
if you
for
were
a couple
invited.
of
You might have
days.
just seen we were online and shown up, and that was
Well,
probably
actually,
the
it's
problem.
impossible to do that because you have to have a room code and stuff.
No, you don't. You can
To
see
go on
that we're
someone's
online
farm?
playing Stardew.
Yeah, but you have to be invited to the farm.
We were already on multiplayer co-op, and if you are in the farm,
Oh,
you can do that.
We have differing memories on that. I
My
do
memory
believe
is that I did
was invited.
only right and only good and no harm.
No, I am 100% certain that Caden and I were invited to the farm. So we were
I
invited
don't know why I would invite you both, but
She invited us both because they did want us to play. That is a main part of this whole storyline, is that Jessie and James were already on this farm, and it was like, come play on this farm with us. So Caden and I log on to the farm. The way that it works is you have to wait till the last person like goes to bed at night for it to be like a new day for multiplayer. And so we are all going about our day. We are not on chat or anything besides like on Switch, so we don't really know what's going on. So Caden and I are just like getting our bearings around the farm. Like there's lots of tasks that you need to do and things like that. So the morning happens at the farm, and Caden and I start playing. Jessie and James are like doing their tasks. It's clear that it's well established at this point. However, it is only still like a few days into the farm, or like a few weeks at the farm.
it was
I guess
at least
in spring.
it was at least spring 16 because of the fruit that we're about to talk
Good
about.
thing she's acting like this during the story, so you all can get an idea of what is to come. Emphasis on Stardew being a casual gaming situation. So Caden and I are starting to do our tasks. I go out to the farm, and I wake up and I go, oh, cool, the crops are ready to be harvested. I go out I pick a strawberry. I pick another strawberry as my little person on Stardew. Pick a couple more strawberries. All of a sudden, Caden and my switches go black. And it says, you're kicked out of Stardew Valley. And it was like, what? What just happened? The connection was lost. The connection was lost.
The connection was lost innocently. I don't know what happened.
Caden and I look at each other like, oh my God, what happened? So
Horrible
I
internet
start
situation.
texting Jessie and James, and I was like, what happened? We just got kicked out. And Jessie goes, do not pick the strawberries. I am trying to get level 9 farming, and that messes up everything. I had to restart the day so that I can pick the strawberries.
You have to have only one person do all the picking because you need to level up one person so you can get the recipe
if you're
for
interested
sprinklers.
in that, Caden and I did not know that we were playing amongst professionals trying to do a speed
It's
run.
called professional speedrunning in Stardew Valley.
It was wild, and we went, you know what? We're going to let you
Not
two
for
continue
us.
on your farm, and we're going to be done. Okay,
All I'm going to say is that James never picked a strawberry.
Okay,
so.
on Jessie's behalf, Caden McGreevy has entered the chat to say James texted us on Jessie's behalf, for the record. So James texted and invited us to the farm.
Is he fact-checking in real time?
Probably. That is, so anyway, tread lightly. If you're trying to play Stardew with Jessie May, tread lightly.
Just don't play a Stardew Farm with me.
No, she loves to get a perfect Stardew.
I don't want to speedrun Stardew, but I can't help it. I have that wolf in me.
There
Okay?
is nothing like innocently picking a strawberry and then having your entire Nintendo Switch say, shoop, and then being told, do not pick the strawberry.
I would not call that innocently picking a strawberry. I would call it guiltily picking a strawberry, and that's why she got kicked out.
I did not do it guiltily. They looked so beautiful, ready to be harvested.
They were juicy.
Anyway. So that is Stardew. Jessie plays very seriously, and I too was inspired by Jessie's gameplay because you started to get 100% on everything.
It's hard not to be inspired by me. What can I say?
It's so true. Catching every fish, making every recipe, shipping off every item. It is wild, and
It's hard work, and somebody has to do it.
someone has to do it. I've done almost everything now at this point, except for the Mr. Chi challenges. I haven't done like Junimo Carton. I can't do those ones, but you have done everything.
I actually don't. I don't know if I've done the what's it called? The Prairie King, Revenge of the Prairie King, or whatever the shooting game is. I don't know if I've done that one actually.
I feel like you have.
But I've gotten.
I feel like you've done every single thing.
Okay, I've done everything there is to do in Stardew Valley.
Yeah. And now you've moved on. What are you playing now?
I haven't moved on. I still have a co-op farm. I'm currently playing a co-op farm and my own farm. Actually, I always have a farm.
I'm not
ready.
invited to that co-op farm.
I've been playing a little card game. It's a little deck building game, a poker-based deck building game called Balatro. We were calling it Balatro for a long time, and then somebody on TikTok corrected me and said it's called Balatro because that means buffoon in Latin. And when I told Park that, she said,
I said
nobody speaks that anymore. I call it Balatro.
no one speaks Latin.
Why would she care though? She refuses to play it. She has
It's true.
refused to play it in a snobby way.
Okay.
And but
We'll
James
let
and I
that
have been
be.
obsessed with it. It's like a deck building card game where you get special jokers and you kind of have to have your little strategy for a different strat for each deck and each stake. And we've gotten all of our friends.
I'm sure I would like it, but there's just nothing that calls to me about playing a card game on my device because I like playing card games in real life, but I still have to be pushed into it.
She does, but she doesn't like playing card games as much as I like. When I sit down with some of my friends, we play a card game every time. Me and Lindy play a card game every time. James and I, if we're waiting to get food, we will usually play a card game. We are always playing a card game.
It's not for me. I really like video games. Like the video games that I love Stardew, obviously, and I loved Breath of the Wild. But I also loved
Wait, Lindy is giving away my cabin on her farm in
Yeah.
the chat.
That's
rude.
what happens if you don't visit the cabin. You use it or lose it.
Okay.
I also played Spyro because the thing that I used to play video games as a kid, I only really played Jak and Daxter. And then as an adult, I replayed Jak and Daxter, the original one that I played as a kid. And it was so fun for me to play, even though the graphics were not at all what they should be. It was like, oh my gosh, this is still so fun. I really like a game that is, so Spyro was kind of like that. Like, do this, achieve it. Do this, achieve it. Be done. Like, you have your list and you know what you're doing. And I guess Balatro could be like that, but
it's exciting to get a new mystery deck that has a different power and a different thing. And the jokers are so weird. And like, I don't know. I will say I had to be trained in how to play the game by both James and Lindy. At first I was playing and I was just like, this is fun. I was just making whatever hands I want, but I wasn't being very successful. Then I was trained by the pros, James and my friend Lindy.
That is a part where that's a huge hindrance for me to play, because when it comes to like video games, I am never really interested in elaborate learning curves. That's just me.
She likes to get the achievement and move on.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's just my my culture around video games.
But then that is her culture. You also like, I feel like you really need to be like convinced. You need to be in a video game.
I do.
Like,
I haven't played a video game since we played, was it Cult of the Lamb or Dave the Diver?
Cult of the Lamb, yeah.
Yeah, I loved Cult of the Lamb, and my problem with video games is I like to do all or nothing almost. Like, I like to like be playing it for way too long every day, or I go in a phase where I'm in a real drought, and I can't always stop myself when I'm in the like wake up and play a video game
I think
phase.
that when you started Cult of the Lamb, didn't you play for 12 hours one day? Yeah. Park is not the type of girly,
and it hurts my wrist
to play a video game for 12 hours. I am, but Park is not.
It scares me, and then I kind of like am like, it's not the time to start another video game or to play a video game. I'm barely knitting right now, so I've got to go. Yeah. That's our video game segment. Shall we talk about our next segment? Yeah. What is it?
Park, James, and I traveled to Detroit, Michigan last weekend. It's about like a 4-hour and 15-minute drive from Chicago, because my best friend, Samantha Irby, was appearing as a guest on Caleb Heron, we decide it's called. Heron, not Heron.
We're
Caleb
not sure.
Heron. I was hearing Heron. Some people were hearing
Heron.
Heron's like live show. Caleb is like a really funny, hilarious comedian. I feel like he got popular on TikTok, and that might be how most people know him. But
now he has a podcast. So true.
And he is so funny. The marquee on the theater at the Fillmore said, "America's only gay comedian," and it must be true.
Yes.
If it's on the marquee.
The marquee says it. It has to be true.
We traveled to Detroit, and if you're not familiar with Samantha Irby's work, she is an author. She writes, the genre I think would be like creative nonfiction. She writes about her life and herself, and like essays, and she has many New York Times best-selling books. She is the funniest person.
Funny.
She's like the funniest, most charismatic person you will ever meet in your entire life. And we met in Chicago like 15 years ago.
And she reads her own audiobooks.
And they are the best.
Oh my God. You will pee your pants. They are so funny. And yeah, you've probably heard of them. Wow, No Thank You, Quietly Hostile.
Meaty was her first one.
You would recognize the covers because they're very iconic, like orange with a cat on it, pink with a skunk on it. Amazing.
Meaty, and then there's also We Are Never Meeting in Real Life. And she is so funny.
And so when we found out that Sam was going to be Caleb's guest, first of all, we felt very cool because we were like, wait, you can get us tickets?
Because all of Caleb's shows like sold out in like so quickly. Like they announced the tour, and I think Sam was saying he sold out the Chicago theater in like 2 hours. Like everything was sold out immediately.
And then it was so fun to be in Detroit at the show because there were multiple different aspects to the show. Like Caleb did a little bit of like stand up, like just talking to us.
Yeah, he started out with the funniest stand up set. The thing that is so funny about him is that like he's so funny and he doesn't rely on being mean at all. Like I mean, maybe mean to people who deserve it.
Yeah, and they deserve it.
And yeah, but it's like not a humor. It's just like he's just funny.
It's really funny.
And so there was like that aspect of the show, and then there was like a drag performance. There was a musician, like the sweetest like local musician.
Yeah. And then we were like, okay, the time
there were
is
also
coming.
skits.
Oh yeah, a few skits, and then Caleb did the nicest intro for Sam, which was basically like, hey, this is my favorite person ever, and I've been begging her to come on my podcast forever and ever and ever. And finally, you all in Detroit get my interview with Samantha Irby.
Yeah, Caleb is to getting Sam to do something as you are to getting me to do this podcast, or not podcast, whatever this is, a live YouTube that's going to be posted also to YouTube later.
That's a really catchy title for it.
That's what it is. Okay. And yeah, it was they had a conversation, and it's like, just imagine the two funniest people on earth talking. Like riffing and talking and kind of like getting into it a little bit.
You said it so well.
Funny.
Like, you do not go to a comedy show and laugh at literally everything.
Everything.
But that's what we were doing. We were laughing
I
at
am not
every single thing.
an easy person to make laugh. Like, I actually am there are many things I don't think are funny that other people think are funny.
And stand-up makes you very
stand-up
uncomfortable.
makes me horribly uncomfortable.
It's a
I
hard
probably
one
would
to
never,
watch.
I don't go to stand-up shows.
No.
I don't like the tension of feeling like somebody is expecting something from me. It makes me want to not do it.
Yeah.
And it also makes me nervous. Like
you feel simultaneously a little embarrassed or like
Yeah.
worried for them up there.
Yeah,
and then you also are like, I
can't enjoy this.
Yeah, like I don't really know.
Also, many people are not funny, or they think that bad things are funny. And I mean, there are many bad things I think are funny, but not in the way that other people do.
And that's what made this like, oh my gosh, this is the best night ever.
Every single thing was making me laugh. There wasn't one joke that didn't hit for me. It was so funny.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see Sam in her element. I used to get to see her in her element all the time because we met in Chicago like 15 years ago and have been best friends ever since. But she's lived in Michigan for like 8 years now. But she used to be very active in like the live lit scene in Chicago, and getting to see her perform and like in action was just like seeing your friend like shine on a stage is like so beautiful. And like, it was nice to get to see that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for
We
letting
love
us come.
Samantha. Wait, I need to talk about something that happened in Detroit that was wild.
Okay.
Which is, we were picked up by a Lyft. We took a Lyft from where we were staying, and within 2 seconds of being picked up, I see a car pulling out of the alley, and as our car is moving, and I was like, that car looks really close to us, and it literally just pulled directly into the car we were in.
Hit
the car we were in.
Like,
it just hit the car we were in, and then it just like drove away. It just happened, and they kind of drove away casually, pulled directly into our car.
We were moving a little bit.
We were moving a little bit, but also we were kind of stationary, and I just watched the car come out of the alley at like, I don't know, 10 miles per hour or however fast. It wasn't very fast, but it was like they didn't even see the car we were in.
It was very confusing.
Bizarre.
I didn't see it happen. I just heard like what sounded like a pothole or something, and Jessie goes, oh my god, and the driver also was like, oh
what
my
happened?
God.
Yeah.
And then
because I watched the car drive into my door. It was so weird.
It was very
It also was kind of funny because like a driver of the Lyft got out and looked at the car and was like, oh, it's fine, and then just like drove away. And I got out of the car because it was on my side to go to the show, and I was like, he's like, oh, it's fine, there's nothing. And then I looked, and there fully was something. It was like a mark on the car. Our poor driver. It could have been so bad.
Been T-boned.
It was just bizarre because it wasn't even, this person was going straight, but there was no road. It was like a T intersection.
Yeah,
there was a building on the other side. Why?
We were confused.
It was the weirdest thing that I've ever, it was wild.
It was wild.
Anyway,
Thank
I love Detroit.
We're okay.
Thank goodness we're okay. We had a really beautiful brunch the next day with our friends.
We did not get to stay long enough in Detroit. We had too much going on, so we only stayed one night. And the saddest thing happened, my saddest thing happened, which is after the show, we were going to go get a fun cocktail somewhere, a little drink with Sam. And everywhere in Detroit was full that night. It was very confusing. It was like the bars were too packed, and we still have not solved the mystery because the hotels were also all booked, which we're like, okay, there's something going on, and there was a cheerleading convention.
Let's say the real reason we didn't stay in Detroit longer, it was that we couldn't afford to. All of the hotels were like $500 a night for
so much,
I don't know why.
and we were sad because we didn't even get to like go out one nice place after like a little fun time, but we got
had a
our
nice
sleep.
brunch the next day at Sam's hotel, and we got to have our little chit chat with Sam and her wife and their friend Helen. But Sam and her wife Kirsten, and I love getting to hang out with my friends.
Yeah,
we loved it.
If any of you are going to see Caleb's shows anywhere else around the city, have so much fun.
I hear he has many beautiful guests.
We're
hearing rumors of other
amazing guests.
Hilarious
guests.
Known to be amazing by us. So.
Especially if you're going to a show in Seattle. Some hints might be in the chat. Wow.
Oh my God. We already did our exaltations. We're now moving into a section called exaltations.
But that is
everything in our chit chat
section.
I thought it would be going. How long have we been going so far?
Like almost 2 hours.
Okay.
Hope everyone's okay.
Hope everybody's okay with that.
So we already did our exaltations corner, which we will be adding to our shows, which is just shout outs and anything we need to exalt. So we already did Caden McGreevy for the artwork, Dan Poppin for the music, which are absolutely incredible. You will see them every show. And basically what Jessie and I were saying when we were being nervous about our show, and we were like, okay, let's just remember we are only doing the show really so that we get to watch the waiting room artwork every day and listen to the music every time.
I feel like we set too high a bar for ourselves because the production value of the music and the art, I don't think we can ever live up to that. I'm like, what can I say that, who cares like what I have to say, right? Like whatever. I have a little bit of a feeling like we need to live up to that, but
I know we set ourselves up too high, but also oh well we can't not have that beautiful waiting room and amazing music. It's so good.
It's true. I would like to exalt Lindy West and Megan Hayes. Oh no, Megan, I'm so sorry. Lindy has a podcast with her best friend Megan, and I think it's Hayes.
Go ahead.
Called Text Me Back, and when Park and I have been extremely nervous about this. I still feel nervous right now.
Me too.
Like, what are we doing? Who cares? Hatcher Maze. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I feel nervous. And Lindy was here last week visiting for a minute she was on a train ride from DC. She was visiting Megan, and then she was going back to Seattle, but there was a stop in Chicago. So Lindy was here, and I was just talking to her about what I was nervous about. And the thing that she told me was that the last thing that I'm going to be worried about is content, because I'm like, what are we going to talk about? I don't really like talking for a long time. I don't think that anything I have to say is particularly like important or good. And so I'm like, why would somebody want to watch this? Like, what are we going to talk about? Whatever. And she's like, the last thing you're going to need to worry about is content. And you know what? That's true. I would say the hardest part about this was, I mean, I still have the feeling of like, what have we talked about for 2 hours and why would anybody care? But like, the tech aspect is really hard. Like, I really admire anybody who's been doing this for any amount of time. I live in a really small apartment. Literally, it's what you can see and a bathroom and a tiny kitchen. And like, my apartment is sort of, everything is, we've just gone through a lot to put this together. We wanted it to be good for you guys.
Have purchased so many dongles.
Too many dongles.
So many dongles.
So many separate dongles, and there are only so many holes in that computer.
So many cords. So many.
Honestly, the camera situation has been really stressful.
It's been like, plug in this, plug into this. How do we plug into this? HDMI, USB-C. What's a USB-C? What's a USB? It's too much.
And there's the computer we're using is like an old computer. It's like Caden's old computer.
It was. Now we're using my laptop. Yeah. Anyway, it's just been a lot, and any help that we have gotten has been very much appreciated. So Also, Lindy and Megan on their Text Me Back podcast have the Best Friend Party Phone, which is where we had our idea to do the Chit Chat hotline.
Yeah, Lindy recommended that.
So that little knowledge sharing.
She said, why don't you just call it Best Friend Party Phone? And I was like, we can't call it the same thing as your phone. What if people get confused?
But anyway, give them a
listen. If you like a show about
friendship.
I'm about to do something controversial. If you like a show about friendship that talks about current events, that is the podcast to go to. I received a very, very stressful DM today that said, "Are you going to talk about the Canada situation?" And what I have to say about that is that right now, Canada and the U.S. are like this. And what we want is for Canada and the U.S. to be like this. We are not a current events podcast. If you've followed us for any amount of time, you know our politics. Things in the U.S. have been bad for a very long time. If this is the first time that you are concerned about it as a Canadian, good for you.
Please, just so you know, if it wasn't clear from the title Knit Nat Chit Chat, we do not want you to get your news from us.
Please don't get your news from a knitting podcast.
Please do not get your news from a knitting podcast unless the news is this.
Exactly. And if what you want are I don't know, our news, little news, current event updates in the world, go to Text Me Back for that. If you want two best friends talking about current events who are much more, I wouldn't say like well informed, but like their whole thing is they talk about, you know, everything. I want this to be a fun thing. Things are horrible in America, not just right now, but they have been for a really long time.
Horrible.
And some of us have you know, it makes some of our lives much more harder than it makes others of our lives. Like,
and we don't mean to say like being apolitical or anything.
We are not apolitical.
We are not apolitical by any stretch of the means. We both agree like everything is political. It's just that what makes us nervous is like if this is where you're getting any sort of news or read
part of the way we got here is that people are getting their news from people who don't know anything about anything. I mean, many other things are happening, but don't get your news from us.
Give Democracy Now! The War and Peace Report by Amy Goodman a listen every morning like I do, and not Knit Nat Chit Chat.
Yeah. I will work as hard as I can personally to address the tariff issue with my huge sway.
Oh.
But yeah,
we love you, Canada. We love you, Mexico.
We love you, Canada. We love you, Mexico.
We love our neighbors.
Our neighbors. We don't think that borders should exist, actually.
Yeah, that's the kicker.
That is the real Canada issue is the way that they treat their First Nations people. But unless you want to give us land back, you probably don't want me to talk about Canada right now. So yeah. That's what I have to say about that. Now let's move into a more hopeful section, prophecies. Although maybe it's not hopeful.
Yeah, true.
Oh, wait. We have another exaltation.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
This is true. This is a huge exaltation in my Parkland area, me in the land of Park, which is that I have not stopped weeping basically for the past week because my sister just had a baby and it is so sweet. And basically it was like, I don't know if you all have sisters, it is a wild experience to like just, I could feel that like sister bond from across the country. She's in Idaho, and like experience just listening to what she went through, you know, just to birth a child, that is so wild. I could like feel, I was like, everyone was like, oh my God, the baby. And I was like, yeah, I love the baby so much. That's such a bonus. But like, is my sister okay? Like, it was very intense to just not be there and to just hear about this this from so far away.
It's we also were in the midst of like trying to figure out everything.
Yeah.
Like finalize everything with the show. We were having so many last minute
The timing
problems.
was wild. I thought we had another. This is me, hilarious. I've never been pregnant, but it's like the due date is like, oh, so the baby's going to come on the due date, right? So let me mark that in my calendar. It's like, nope, she's going to come a week earlier. And I was like, oh, that would have been so cool if you'd waited. Just kidding. But that was the thing, is I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so many things. And so the day that the baby came, it was like, I don't know. I have nieces too, but this was my sister's first baby. It was the first one on my side of the family. So it was like, oh my gosh, beautiful, a miracle. And I'm so proud of my sister, and I love my sister and her new baby so much. And I am going to go back to Idaho next month, later in the month, and I get to meet her. She's so little. She was 6 pounds when she was born, which is probably kind of average, but my family has huge babies. I was 10 pounds when I was born.
That's
My
so
poor
many
mom.
pounds.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you have a niece, and it's so sweet how happy it has made you, and I can't wait for you to meet the baby.
It's going to be very fun.
Yeah.
I also need to show you something. I know it's kind of annoying to be pulling out my phone, but I need to show you.
I like when people pull out their phone.
If you don't follow me or haven't seen, I knit a little cow pattern for the new baby.
Was it a cow from a book, or was it?
No, it's just called cow. You see?
It's so cute.
It's so cute. It's just called Cow, and then in parentheses, Knit a Teddy. And it's a whole series that the designer does. Sarah Gleason, I believe is her name. And the cow was a labor of love. I'm going to say that much because it was in Tarja, and I did the horrible thing of doubled up yarn while I was knitting it. So it was a mess, but it turned out so cute.
She didn't even have bobbins. There were so many different strings that were just wound up.
It was not good, but worth it for my sister's first baby.
The cow was so cute.
Yeah.
I feel like, there was something that I wanted to share that I didn't get to share.
What?
I wanted to share in my chit chat portion 2 things that I've really been enjoying.
Oh, okay.
But should I just save it for next time?
Save it for
I'll
next
save it for
time.
next time. I got 2 very good birthday gifts.
Well, you will. Let me make a note of it.
2 great birthday gifts that I would like to share. One from Park and one from James. But I guess you'll have to tune in next time to find out what they were. Speaking of,
our plan right now is to do the show once a month, and our next show is going to be April 8th, same time, same place. As we said before, all the shows will be filmed and then posted later, like probably immediately after. Yeah. So it's okay if you can't make it. But if you like this little live chat vibe, it will be April 9th, which is also a Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going to try to do it on Wednesdays, I think, at Wednesday evenings. Mm-hmm. I imagine there will be some months when maybe we need to move it, but Wednesday is a good, like, midweek day for both of us.
And call us on the Chit Chat hotline if you have other specific topics that you want us to cover on April 9th.
We haven't talked about our prophecies, babe.
We haven't.
Oh, okay. So we talk about them?
Yes.
Okay.
What prophecies do you have? What do you see happening, and what is happening?
I see myself doing a lot of work and a lot of knitting. I feel like all I've been doing for so many months is...
You have been.
Not because I love it. I prefer, as we all do, not to have to grind all the time, but I feel like I've been grinding for 6 months.
Life is really hard now.
Life is hard. Like, things are really bad in the world and in the US particularly. It's never been good. I'm not like trying to say that it was ever good, but I feel like people are really feeling the sort of, we're very overwhelmed.
Like a pressure cooker.
It's a pressure cooker situation.
Never like lets up.
Yeah, and so I think there's an aspect of like feeling like we need to do as much as we can right now while we like have our bearings, and because we don't know what's going to happen, and we're scared and nervous and everything.
And also that is what, I don't know that we really talked about this, but I think we talked about it in like our rollouts and in our newsletters, but that really was what was one of our main goals of this, is to be like, we're like, everything is so bad and scary and making us all, I think, collectively very nervous, and it has been
feeling
bad.
out of community,
Out
right?
of community. And
like and that's how they sort of terrorize us, like,
Yes.
is by keeping us apart from each other. We want people to feel like you're, you know, part of our friendship, and that you know us a little bit better, and that we know you a little bit better, and that's what we want.
That also, it's okay to have friends,
to have a moment
joy,
of joy. Like, you have to, in fact,
you
in
have to,
moments like this.
because we have to be sustainable. It has to be sustainable. Like, we can't give up. We can't, like, say, oh,
we can't turn
everything
to despair, or
sucks.
just like turn our, you know what I mean, like, backs on anything. But you need joy. You need something to sustain you. Like,
and pour into your
times.
friendships. Like, that's what I feel like. I'm just like, oh, we've got to pour into our friendships, and we really have to learn how to take care of each other.
Yeah. And find your little joys and your pleasures where you can. Like, yeah.
But what do you have coming up?
What do I have coming up? Oh, a lot of work. I mean, it's
yeah.
not all good. I have a lot of work. I see myself going to a powwow in a couple weeks. Like, there's like a winter's end powwow.
You see it.
I see it happening.
Crystal ball.
Yeah, I see it in a crystal ball. I see myself in Wisconsin at a powwow, and I'm really excited about that. So,
I see myself, as I already said, going to Idaho soon to visit my niece.
Right.
And, I also see myself celebrating my 12-year anniversary this weekend. Ooh, 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 ooh.
I see myself going to the symphony with James and Watts this weekend.
Symphony.
While James was still in Croatia, I had season tickets for the symphony last year, and Park and I got into a little tradition called Strogan Symph, where we would go to Russian Tea Time, which is this little restaurant near Symphony Center, where we would get beef stroganoff, and
so yummy,
so good and fast and easy. And yeah, so James and I are gonna go do a Strogan Symph sesh, because we're going to the symphony on Saturday, and
so fun.
I feel like I have something on Sunday too, but I don't remember. I should check out my bullet journal that Park has gotten me into doing.
The bullet journal. Well, your plans on Sunday were I know what they were, and they were canceled. They were the dinner.
Oh no.
Anyway,
we were all supposed to go to see Sam and Kirsten for St. Patrick's Day, but then Park and Caden couldn't do it, and then James had something come up. So
yeah,
we need to invite James to the podcast. If you have any wishes for guests, like podcast guests, we are fully open to that. I've already
we are a little bit worried figuring out another technology aspect,
but I think it's easy. I think that I feel like we'll be able to figure it out. I think Lindy has already asked if she could be a guest. My friend
God.
Lindy of Text Me Back fame, and also I feel like another New York Times bestselling author.
Yeah, did we talk about that? That's another
famous feminist Lindy West.
Yes.
Writer of the book, author of the book Shrill, which was also turned into a Hulu
and Witches Are Coming
movie. Witches Are Coming.
And keep your eyes peeled for another book coming soon.
A new book coming soon.
Year. No, this year now.
Maybe
2025. I think.
It might be next year.
Oh, it might be next year.
Anyway,
again, don't get your news from us.
Fact
check us.
If you would love to see Lindy as a guest, let us know. If you want to see James, if you want to see Sam, I'm sure Sam would love to come on our show.
Yeah.
But anybody, like other knitters, even people in the chat, like
we also want to just say James does have a YouTube channel as well. I don't know if we said that, but we'll of have James on our pod.
Yeah, because us together as a whole unit is an entire different dynamic. Oof. We have a very Park is the middle child. I'm the eldest child, and James is the baby of his family. And let's just say that the dynamics are mirrored. Okay,
you can tell. Yeah.
But yeah. So call the Chit Chat hotline. Let us know. Let us know what you think.
Everybody, we have something so wild to tell you, which is this is now our portion of the Knit Nat Chit Chat called Gratitudes and Goodbyes.
The double G's.
Double G's.
Much smaller than my bra size.
Yeah, but bigger than mine.
Bigger than Park's. So
we just
want
the space
between us.
The double G's. Gratitudes and goodbyes. That could be another thumbnail. Truly, thank you all so much for listening to this,
for sitting here, for
this.
Anybody who sat here for 2.5 hours or however long this has been, you are the real ones.
And if you didn't, I certainly would not.
You are also the real ones.
You are also the real ones.
I would have. I love watching something for 2.5 hours.
We love you so much, and I cannot express, like, we built this up too much in our heads. We were really scared.
Park had to like have a moment with me where she's like, we're building this up too much and we just have to do it. She wanted to do it at the end of January, and I had a February from hell. I had so many things that month, and I was like, I can't do it.
The timing was right when we just did it now. But I just want to say, like, we built it up way too much, and we were forgetting that you guys are all so nice and we really appreciate your support and the way that you are like cheerleaders for us.
Your attention. I feel like that's the greatest gift somebody can give you, is their attention. And like, I've never not been appreciative of the people, who knit my patterns and stuff, but like, just that you're interested in sitting here and listening to us talk, like, means the world to me. It's very like affirming to me.
We are forever grateful.
We are. I don't know what else to say.
There's nothing else to say. We love you
we wouldn't
so
be
much.
doing this without you, like, in any way. And I'm feeling so much relief right now that.
Me too. That's what I was meaning to say, is like, we've done it. We're gonna feel so much relief. And as I told Jessie, like, I already am looking forward to the next one. Like, it's been fun. You guys are amazing, and I can't wait to knit, nat, and chit chat again.
I can't either.
With you all.
So thanks to everybody like who participated in the chat. That does so much, I think, to add to like the vibe. Thanks personally to like our personal friends who are in the chat. I wasn't sure if people would be watching, but like,
very nice.
Sam is here, Lindy's here, James is here,
Kaden,
Dan, Maya, Gloria, all of our closest friends are here, and that means not that they wouldn't be, but I don't know, like, people get busy and forget, and like, that's okay, but it means the world to us. I'm like so happy right now.
Thank you so much. Again, this will be posted here in a bit on the YouTube, and you can catch us on April 9th on the Knit Nat Chit Chat YouTube and on our Instagrams
and
in
on
the
our
meantime.
Instagrams.
But this is the Knit Nat Chit Chat. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Love you.
We love you.
This episode was made possible by our sponsors. Just kidding. We don't have any yet.
And
it was also made possible by the support of viewers like you.
Artwork by Caden McGreevy. Music by Dan Poppin.
Call us on the Chit Chat hotline at 872-204-6976.
Again, that is 872-204-6976.
This is Jessie May.
This is Park.
We knitted.
We natted.
We chitted.
We chatted.
See you next time.
Goodbye.